It is 7:30, Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. We're now calling to order the Historic Town of Eatonville Regular Council meeting. Mrs. King, do we have a quorum?
Yes. Roll call.
Yes, please.
Councilwoman Randolph. I'm here. Councilman Washington.
Present.
Vice Mayor Daniels. Mayor Gardner.
Here,
And Councilman Marvin Daniels called and would not be present tonight.
thank you. Please stand for the invocation by Reverend Critton, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. We thank you that you have allowed us to, virtues that they are not. Your faithfulness is new every day, God. We thank you for the grace that you've extended toward us to love you. This community, Eatonville, that you have placed us in to be stewards. Representative of this community, God, that you have placed in a position of authority to make decisions that would be beneficial and advantageous. We also pray to your knowledge and understanding so they can make a decision and use discretion to bring glory to you and good. Thank you for every resident of this community, your position to live here. Continue to bless us to love and respect one another's properties. Again, we thank you for this town council meeting where you can further update us in the state of the welfare of this community. We thank you for everything that you're doing in, through, and for Eatonville. We bless you and we praise you and we thank you again for all things. We ask you this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda with the corrected items that you were greeted with. And one is just for the cover letter for the second audit for the CRA. The amount was wrong on the cover letter.
Could
You
we have,
received the corrected one.
could we have 2 and 3 to remove the council decision, please, if possible?
Who?
2 and, I'm sorry, 3 and 4.
3
Not
and
2
4.
and 3, yeah, 3 and 4.
All right, all in favor of items 3 and 4, we voted on those last time, right? All in favor of items 3 and 4 being moved to council decision?
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. And that's it. So with those 2 items, 3 and 4 being moved to council decision, move for approval. Oh, we finished. With
You made the
approval of
amendment.
the agenda with items 3 and 4 being moved to council decision. Is there a motion?
We just did it.
No, we just did a motion to move items 3 and 4 to council decision. Now we approve the agenda with those changes.
Second.
So I wasn't crazy. All right, so it's been moved in second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Next. The approval of the agenda has been passed. Now citizen participation.
We have none.
Seeing there is none. First item is the consent agenda for the approval of the audit firm Carr Riggs and Ingram for the town audit as well as for the CRA audit, and it will also come to the CRA for vote as well. Is there a motion? Yes, it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. All right, consent agenda has been passed. Now we're ready for council decision. First item is the approval of special events advisory committee for the town. Councilwoman.
Okay, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Okay, the special event advisory. This is another item that has been discussed several times. And the overview of the information today, I did speak to the CAO about the committee. What I was interested in is just trying to make sure that, I know we had said it the last time, for everyone to send in some changes that they would like to see. So I think having a special events advisory committee is going to weigh in very well with very large events that we can call people together who have the necessary skills, volunteers to help work on these type of committees. Smaller events would not require to have a committee, but some events basically have volunteer organizers of maybe 3, 4, 5, or maybe 10 people, or what, depending on what type of event that it's being taken forward. But according to the committee, it will be serve as a 3-year term. And there are some other requirements that we need to really take a look at to see whether or not on this type of committee will be something for those who are selected by qualifications, and once they are approved or recommended by the town council, the swearing in of each one of these members on the committee by the town clerk. So that will be another process, but however, it doesn't have to be that way. It's according to what we were looking for as from council. And also I had spoken to Mr. Presley about an application process. So we'll have an application process, the same similar that we have on all of our other boards that we have in the town. So I don't know, we wanted this to be a board or just be a committee or some sort. So just want to try to discuss it first and see how this works.
Oh, I got one question. For what events?
Well, we don't know yet because we haven't, other than Founder's Day and what's the other one?
MLK.
I think MLK,
MLK.
Founder's Day, and maybe the
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth would be the only 3 that would fit in the category for this committee.
So why the town need to be involved in the town? Why we need to be involved in some other committee?
No,
I mean,
we're not involved in
you
it.
just-
You have a committee.
You just said somebody need to swear them in. That's, you said we need to pick them in, the clerk to swear them in?
No, what I'm saying, these are just instructions that was taken from another municipality. Other municipalities have the same,
What's the name of the committees they have?
one in Fort Myers, and another one's in Utah. And I think there's another one in Jacksonville. They all have different things. But this is just one particular one. We don't have to go by this. We can make changes according to what we want as a council. So if
So-
you have anything on here that you would like to see changed,
No, I'm just trying to see,
just
if
recommend.
someone want to do an event, you have to go through this committee?
The committee will be involved in planning
No,
large events.
no, planning.
Planning, making recommendations
No.
to the council.
If someone want to do an event, do they have to go through this committee? That's my question.
If it's anticipated of more than 1,000,
We don't know, I mean, we can't set on a number. But you want more than 1,000, but the thing
Yeah.
is, do we? But I think I don't think that's too much. That's too much for a town to be involved with. I assume. Because most committees are just nonprofits and private people out there do events that come to your community and say, well, I want to do event in your community. I have my own people, I just need the space and law enforcement or whatever we provide. But for us to be involved and say, well, we gotta go through this committee first, then you might not like me as the person that doing the committee, do the event. So you're gonna shoot my event down. And that's the politics of this kind of thing here. You shoot people events down because you don't like the person I bring. And that's not what we're into. So if people want to do an event like Founders Day event, that's the mayor event. Her committee is her committee, his committee, whoever the mayor at the time. That's who they get to do their event. Not to go through it, somebody handpicked, so well, we don't want a good event, we don't want this event,
All right, let me see what Vice Mayor.
you know, so, I
Vice
mean,
Mayor.
I wish, God bless the dead, Miss Fillmore was alive so that she could be here to give her assessment of how back in the day, the parades were organized by the citizens. That same committee you're talking about, she was on that committee. My mom was on that committee. They had a lot of citizens on that committee that took over that because they came from a different perspective.
they're private.
I wish she was here. No, it was part of the town. The town approved them to let them do it. And if not, then we can get some of those people here and they can testify that they were a part of that committee. So it wasn't about politics. It was just about those people knowing the history, with connections and provided a adequate parade or whatever event that was back in the day. Now, do we agree to that?
Let me educate you on something too.
Oh, okay, so I'm guessing.
Okay, the name of that group was the Edenville JCs. And they did do events. They did back in '86, they did Stanley Clark concert on Wymo football field. And same thing happened with that group. Why did they fold? That's the best group we ever had that did things. The Edenville JCs.
Ms. Fillmore was on that group, sir?
She probably was. With Mr. Hold on. I can't. I know Miss Knight and a whole bunch of people on that committee. Miss Alexander, those people on that committee. She probably was on that committee. But it was the JCs in the town did not run the Edenville JCs.
Vice Mayor.
You know,
They were appointed. That's my whole point. They were appointed by the town, whether it be the mayor or that board, appointed those citizens, that advisory board, to help out with the organization of the parade. Now, until you get me that information, I'm gonna stay uneducated about the JCs because I don't think that was correct. So until you get me that information, then we will see, because otherwise those were citizens, residents of Edenville that volunteered to come and help provide, and it wasn't a JC, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't think they came through the town council to do an event. They did the events they had all those events back in the day. I remember those people.
So if you allow me to interject. In the last meeting, and I hear two things. I hear Councilwoman Randolph, you're saying to have a full-blown board or committee sworn in. I think that's a bit much. We have boards now that we're trying to get filled. And then I hear Vice Mayor saying that the town appointed a committee. And because I see this as administrative, I just want to, I go back to last meeting when Mr. Presley asked for a special project coordinator. And that is someone that could oversee not just events, but we need other projects also overseen, not just special events for the town. And I think the difference in his perspective and our perspective, or what's presented here, is that it's tunnel vision. The administration came and said, this is what we need in order for the town to be in a better place. And he said no, or we tabled it, I don't remember. So I still need more than this. And even if we had a special events advisory committee, who coordinates that committee? If we don't have a special project coordinator in place, who coordinates the committee? Now you put something else on a staff member. So right now, this to me falls directly under the auspices of the administration. And I would like to keep it there. And if Mr. Presley chooses to have an advisory or a group or a committee, then he will definitely reach out. But without there being a special project coordinator, because like I said, we're seeing more than just special events. We're seeing special projects throughout the town. And this would just be one of those main things. So maybe we'll reconsider that position in the future. But right now, if when there's a special event, you'd like for someone to advise you on your decision or get you more ideas, then by all means, because the charter does say that if you have suggestions, then bring it to the administration. And I think that we all agree that Mr. Presley does hear you, and he does try to fulfill and meet those needs.
Well, I did talk to Mr. Presley today, and I did express some other concerns about that, about the town clerk position. I didn't really think that was something that we really wanted, or was something like that. I was looking more or less for volunteers. I do know that staff, they do a very good job doing what they do when we have the MLK and some of the other activities, but it was just basically also like another set of eyes and ears to take a lot of that responsibility, so they'll work with staff and basically just volunteers. So, I mean, it's up to council. If you don't want it, then that's fine. But I do remember in the day when I came here, when we had the birthday for the town of Edenville, it was all volunteers. It was a beautiful event for our 100th birthday in the town of Eatonville.
And that can continue.
Yeah, but
Under
it
the
was all
direction of Mr. President.
volunteers. No one got paid to do anything.
And
It
that
was
can continue.
dedicated people that came together. We also had Miss Eatonville Patrick. That was something that was done on a regular basis. And it was just an idea to try to go back to what we used to do in the days of Eatonville, when everyone was working together and coming together as a community.
And that was done, the email pageant was done just with, not a committee, it was done, people, like you said, the Fillmores
Right.
handled
And
that
this
back
is
in the day.
by no way to
Oh.
take the place of anything else. It's just a committee to help to assist the plan for whatever we have planned that we would like to do as a town.
It don't say
That's
nothing about
all it is.
assist. You-
Some of this language in here doesn't even have to be here.
No, I
but
mean,
we
I'm,
can
it
kinda
just,
adjust it based upon what we look like as a council.
All I can do is reiterate what I've stated. This sounds like it definitely falls under the auspices of administration. I do take everything that you've said into consideration, but even with an advisory committee, it's still gonna take another staff to even coordinate that. Right now, I'm gonna leave it with Mr. Presley. We have a list of volunteers. When people call, I wanna volunteer, Ms. Robinson does keep a list of those persons. So when there is like MLK and any other events, she does reach out. So I'm gonna leave Mr. Presley to decide which direction he'd like to go. As for an approval of special events advisory committee, like I said before, this falls under administration. But I do hear everything that you said.
Okay, thank you.
So does it come for a vote?
yeah, it's a decision.
Okay.
I've been saying, I think you still need to.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
just-
right,
yeah, yeah.
Right, she was talking like it was a done deal.
I think maybe we should table it. You don't want it, we can just vote. Doesn't
But
matter
it's,
to me.
it's not about one, we'll just do it a different way. And I'm running it through
Okay,
administration. That is what I've
So-
been saying.
So just for clarity on my end, so for the purpose of what was presented, less the formal action of an actual committee. However, we want to continue to use volunteers as needed for events such as this. So I guess I just needed, we just need to figure out what you're gonna vote on. What are we voting on? Are you,
I think it should be tabled. I agree with Councilwoman Randall.
so would you like me to table it and bring it back just as a
No, I mean, it's the community, it's the administration.
table? Okay.
Are you gonna put the vote?
Do we need to vote for the
Yeah,
table?
yeah.
Is there a motion to table item number 5, approval of special events advisory committee?
Slow move.
Second.
As we move in second, all in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye. All opposed? Nay. Item number 5 has been tabled. Item number 3, approval of vacation payout for one employee who exceeds 240 hours vacation.
Yeah, council, just for your knowledge here, we, and I'm gonna ask Chief to talk on it as well. We have tried to avoid this from the last meeting. However, because of staffing levels and what we have, it probably wasn't monitored as well as it should be from the department to make sure. And then some of it was just unavoidable. And so Chief has, I'm gonna allow Chief to talk on it. He can discuss what the plans are moving forward. But at this point, we went back and forth with finance and with the staff. I think this is just in the best interest to move forward coming in this matter. Go ahead, Chief.
Good evening, everyone tonight. Thank you for having me here to our great town as well. Let me first by saying that having been here a little over a month now, I must applaud the officers that we do have. It is amazing how they have been able to sustain the work that they do. My number one goal is to try to increase manpower. I think that is the main issue that we're having in retrospect to them taking vacation versus being called in. It kind of conflicts itself. If we have an officer that has to go to a jail or to the Aspire or anything like that, we basically left with one officer. So to keep the safety of that officer having to respond to another call that may require 2 officers, we're having to try to infiltrate using officers to come in and stay later or come in and help. We have one volunteer right now who helps quite a bit with that. But the goal at the end of it all is kind of counterproductive to try to give them the vacation time and then also ask them to come in the same week, while they also accrue vacation and sick time. So one of the main things we wanted to do is I wanted to at least see if we could reward them this year. I know that last year there were some promises made that didn't get fulfilled this year. That we could at least allow them up to 80 hours of payback for that time that they had because they were over so much. My number one goal is we're proud to say we have had quite a few people come in as applicants, with 2 or 3 already certified through the academy. We also have a reserve that's coming in that's already certified through the academy. So the way I do perceive it is to be, once we increase a little bit more in our manpower, I'll be able to manipulate more. I am utilizing myself as well. I'm out here at night, sometimes later than 10 o'clock. I'm here in the daytime. So I'm trying to manipulate those times and places. But I think at the end of the day, if the council will allow these great people to have some compensation for the hours that they rightfully earned, due to whatever those were prior to me coming here, an opportunity to take that money and utilize it within their homes, I would appreciate you discussing and voting on it properly.
And just to kind of bring it all full circle, we have one for finance, which is our finance director, and as well as for these employees. So I know we got to do them separate, but as the information is going to be the same for both. That we have looked at as how many hours they can take prior to the 31st of this year, and they'll still have these additional hours. So by allowing them to buy out, they'll still take off some time that's still over by the 31st, and then this would have been left over. Then going into the new year, the plan is in place,
Right.
to avoid having to keep coming back for this.
Yeah. So we're going to do a lot of flex timing on things that we may have. Like I said, I'm salary, so my manipulation of hours is a lot different during the day. So I may have a lieutenant or someone who would normally be working to come in later or get off earlier so that we can help manipulate their time so we can get them in a safer area. So they're not losing this time. They worked hard for it. They deserve it. Correct. And once again, I'm in awe. To what they have been doing here, I don't think we even have a clue the credit that they rightfully deserve. But my goal is to bring quality people here, and it's already started. They've already started coming in, started applying. And the beautiful thing is, down the road, I'd like to look at possibly, I know it's sidetracking here, but I'd like to look at bringing in, sponsoring 2 a year through the academy to qualified applicants that the town would allow us to bring them in, put them under a contract, allow them to come in, they would work a certain amount of years. We'll talk with Mr. President to finalize it. But those things I think would help us keep retention. Recruiting is one thing, but retention is what we really need right now.
Right.
Yes,
The main
sir.
reason for bringing this was to discuss that, because vacations are important, especially for law enforcement officers and what you deal with. You know, you need a break, you know, same with staff. And that's why I was asking, you know, what procedures or what policy do we have implemented to make sure that we get these, our employees and our officers the right vacation and just to clear their minds. And that's why I had it, you know, bring it to council. I'm all for it, but we have discussed this in previous
Right.
budget times of, you know, overtime, where we need to figure out a way to get these people the necessary vacation they need. Like I say, just to clear their minds and just take a break from the town.
And just
And that's
coming
what-
in the first month, I decreased overtime just a little bit.
You decrease?
Just by
Okay,
some nooking and crannying
Okay.
and realizing where their hours are being put. And down the road with all that I'm hearing today, you know, we need to prepare. We need more officers.
absolutely.
And we don't have to wait until it's after the fact. I think we need to start looking at it now. Salaries is gonna be a mitigating factor. As we look around to our neighboring partners, we need to be substantial to what they have. I'm gonna bring the training that they're gonna need. I have assets that are gonna help us. A lot of it not gonna even cost us a lot of money, or if any at all, because I have partners within the surrounding agencies that I can just send my people to those trainings and not even have to compensate for it. So there's a lot of avenues that I'm doing on that end. that's gonna help generate us still keeping ourselves under budget. But our budget's gonna grow as time moves on. I think it would be realistic not to think that that's not gonna happen, but I think it's gonna be proper things. I also looked at vehicles, things of that nature that are gonna help us get us up to par.
Are we saying use it or lose it? Are we to that point? Not until we get staffing adequate.
And
staffing.
this is the goal, because
Okay.
so that, we'll only have 5, but
Mhm.
because they are so heavy on that end.
Right,
They're taking off now.
okay,
So the hours that are presented is what would get them with the 80 under the 240.
okay,
And just so you know, that was my stance when he first brought it. I was like, oh, they should have used it.
right,
Because we talked about this at the last one, but he
Exactly.
did express the need as well as the sacrifice they've made to make sure we stayed in compliance with the right officers. So that's why, when they first brought it, I said, no, we said if they
Mhm.
didn't have it, then
Mhm.
lose it.
Mhm.
But he did express that these officers have gone beyond the call of duty to make sure the town was at least or at least had the right amount of staffing level to make it work. So I did agree with this, and I thought this may be the way we kind of close out and we move with a new direction.
From a community
Oh.
policing standpoint, I don't want officers that are tired
Right, sure.
having to deal with our town.
Right.
Because I want them to be fresh, ready to speak in a proper manner, handle things the way they're supposed to handle it. Not being, just worn out that they're now out of character.
That's
And we
okay.
all can be there when we don't get no sleep, we all can be grumpy. I
Absolutely.
want officers that are excited to be here, they want to see change and want to be a part of that change that's coming.
Absolutely.
The councilwoman.
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how much overtime are you presently using?
There was
What's
a,
the average of a week?
probably, I'd have to go back and look at the numbers. I don't want to give a number and not be precise. I don't.
So how many
But
officers?
from what I did just the month I've been here, the 2 pay periods I've done, I've decreased, probably around 20 hours.
So how many officers are we short?
Oh, well, good 4 at least.
What are we short current budget requirements right now? How many officers that was approved that we're short right now?
4.
We're short 4 now
So we
from
need
what
more.
was approved.
Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to make sure we didn't do what we desired versus what
Right.
we actually.
Well, we're short 4 and I have actually 4 applicants.
Okay,
But we also are going to lose 1 officer, possibly in retirement down the road. So we got to think about that, when those times come. So you have to prepare for that ahead of time.
if you had those 4 officers now,
Mhm.
will you still be using overtime?
Not as much.
Not as much.
Yeah, I would never say you're never gonna use overtime because police officers, depending on the calls for service, depending on what they're on, there's always a possibility of overtime. If they're there 12 hours and they wind up on a case that causes them to be there another 4, then they're gonna wind up in overtime.
Okay, so who's managing their hours?
Myself.
You managing hours, okay. So let's say, Mr. Preston, where is the money gonna come from?
For the amounts here, so
Yes,
as you know, we did not, we had in the budget currently now, the money for the additional deputy chief. We've frozen that position. And that position is not being filled this year per our conversation, so we have funding available within the department already to pay this. I think it's a total of 6,500. So we have the funds there
so
available.
you're not planning on hiring a deputy chief at this time?
Not at the moment.
Not in this fiscal, we've
Not
talked
even
about it,
that,
not in this fiscal year.
So those funds can be allocated towards this
Absolutely.
year,
Mhm.
is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Well, my position on this is, at this time, and listening to your story, I know you knew, but this is the second budget meeting that I've been involved in since I've been on council.
Mhm.
So when this comes up again, this should not come up again because they have to use their hours or lose. I know things happen, officers retire or someone is out for whatever reason, but we really got to get control of this. Really got to get control of this. But, so that's where I stand with this. But anyway, very good job. If you're on top of the manager, that's fine.
Yes, ma'am.
That's fine. We just don't want this to keep coming before council. every year.
Exactly. And I expressed that to Mr. President. That is the goal. Actually, every quarter, I'll be sitting down with my lieutenants and below to make sure all of our people are getting the time that they need.
And I just want to make one comment, based upon experience. I do know a lot of times when you bank hours, a lot of employees, they try their best to get up to a certain amount.
Mhm.
But this is what happens, a lot of times they probably can take off. They don't want to take off because they're trying to bank as many hours.
Mhm,
So when something happens, they know they're gonna have a big payout when they get ready to leave.
mhm.
And you know,
Right.
they have a right to do that, but that's
Right.
not the reason, because they can lose their leave. So I would try to encourage each one of them to please take, you know, your time off plan. In fact, one officer, two officers here don't even have a planned vacation for the upcoming year. You only have two people who have a planned vacation, two, three, I say maybe two or three, or whatever. So, okay, that's all. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, so you know, Councilwoman, the HR coordinator will be helping, because she'll send out at a certain point in the year to let everybody, to let the department heads know who's approaching it, so they'll have enough time to make sure they use it before the year's out, so we won't run into this problem. So the HR will help with that tremendously.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, so approval of vacation payout for,
One question. This for the
Again, so
finance?
I know what you're gonna say. So there's two. There's
Yeah, there's two.
there's two. We gotta do
Right.
two. One is for finance and one is for
Right.
So
PD.
we,
So I'm assuming this one was for the police department.
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh,
Right, right.
that's number 4 then, yeah, cause I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's number 4. Yes, that was gonna make that statement. I'm with you on that.
I have a question, Mayor. Do
Yes.
we have to, shouldn't we have the, on the fiscal efficiency data as to where these funds are gonna come from? On the bottom? No, you just expressed that.
We expressed it, but it's not changing from the account that is in because it's coming out of personnel. We don't have to make any adjustments. We're
a
just,
different account,
I'm sorry?
if it's coming out of a different account, we have to show it now.
Right,
Do we
if it
have
will-
to show
but it's
this?
not coming from a different account, it's coming out of personnel, because we're not hiring in that position where those funds are coming from, which is the deputy
Chief.
chief position. So it's already in
In the
personnel.
budget.
Yeah, but it's coming from another line item. That's what I'm saying. It's-
No, it's coming from the same personnel line item, because this funding is coming from personnel. The additional funding that would have been in there would have been from the actual deputy chief, but it's not changing the line item because it's in the same line item. All this personnel that we're talking about is in the same
Oh, salary.
line item,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. I know what you're saying. Now, if we were pulling it from another area to put there, then we would have had to bring in that in there. But it's coming from personnel, which is, what's the personnel line item number? 15,
What would it be?
1200. That's what I didn't think was happening.
Okay.
So that's why we didn't add that in there. I know what you're speaking of.
Yes, okay, just want to make sure.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
all right, so approval of vacation payout for, that's 6 employees, right?
5.
Okay.
5.
It's
Six. Yeah.
For 6 employees who exceeded the 240-hour vacation threshold. Is there a motion?
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. So item 4 passes. And then finally, item number 3, approval of vacation payout for 1 employee who exceeds 240 hours vacation.
Wait, with
Second.
discussion, with discussion, please. So
Okay, so
what do we have in place to prevent this?
Absolutely. I have one
Yeah.
straggler in the general fund from that side of things. I've spoken with with our finance director about it. We have the actual staffing level, so she's been meeting the proper thresholds of leaving on time as well as planning out some vacations to do that. So that's already been spoken and taken up care of.
Because as you know, her position, I mean, we discussed how valuable she is, I discussed
Absolutely.
that to you. you know.
Absolutely.
And I've always said, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Stick to finance. We'll handle it. We got to put people in place. So I just didn't want this to happen again. So
Absolutely.
once again, for staff, use it or lose it, because we don't want to go through this.
And the same thing would happen with the other staff members. HR would notify me at a certain point in the year, hey, these ones are going to be close to the maximum. Please remind them to take it, because if
Right.
they don't take it, they lose it. And that's been brought to their attention.
All right.
Yes.
They do have a clause, can they get a buyout if they want to just get paid for the vacation?
HR is putting together a package that at some point in time will present back to council for approval. But that is something that we think would be an incentive for that. But that'll be something we'll discuss.
Not saying you get by, then you quit. I'm just saying you get, so,
Correct.
you know,
Correct. we're looking at some options. Most municipal governments do have a point where there's a one-time buyback of time.
For real?
Yeah, and so that's a normal protocol.
Okay.
We just need to, HR is going to go through it to determine how we'll proceed with it, but we're not here to, I don't have any details to kind of give you.
Okay,
how
I
we're
just
doing
want to
it.
ask this question.
All right, Vice Mayor.
No, I would just say if you can, make it a week, so then,
Yeah, we'll
You know what I'm
we'll
saying?
set how many hours that we would. do.
right, so then if you don't take.
I want to
you
say it was
don't-
normally anywhere between 60 to 75 hours that they would allow you to get it, that one-time buyback. And the council at that point, we can decide what that amount is. Is it 80?
80 hours. And that was an idea I brought over at Sheriff's Office. We've done that, and it was criteria that can be set through the council, and we can make that
Exactly.
effective.
But I will allow our HR department to kind of get it together so we can present it properly to the council.
Mr. Preston, you are monitoring this. You're gonna stay on top of this and make sure this doesn't, we get into this situation again.
Absolutely.
Okay, Ms. Gibson, take your time.
All
No
right.
vacation.
So we're gonna move on, approval of vacation payout for one employee. This is item number 3. Is there a motion?
It's already been seconded.
Yeah.
It was kind of like broken up.
Yeah, little bit, yeah, incomplete.
Just do it so move.
Is there a motion?
Slow move.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, that is it for the agenda. Reports, Mr.
Yes,
Preston.
I did give you all some updates in the workshop. Just a few more things to keep in mind. The roof project is going pretty well. We should have the roofing done hopefully by the end of this week. We've also have started the Christmas presentation, so the Christmas lights are up, and the Public Works team as well as staff have done a great job preparing for that. Christmas on the Boulevard is on December 21st at 6:30. And I'll let the mayor talk about the newsletter if she so desires. We talked about the valves. And also we are preparing for, of course, the Christmas dates and holidays coming up. So we have put out the dates that staffing will be limited and we'll only have essential workers, but that's included. I want to give a thanks and appreciation to Public Works and to our town clerk for the improvements to our chambers. They work tirelessly to make sure the monitors are working. We do have some adjustments that will be made to it. But I want to say job well done to Ms. King for her efforts and time, as well as some of the additional items that will be coming in the future that's taking place there. I know there is a community meeting on Thursday, December 7th. At what time did we say, Valerie? 6:30. 6:30. This meeting is to discuss the water main, the water quality, as well as some of the breaks that we've had, as well as to talk about some of the work in the right of way from contractors. And we'll give the community a chance to kind of express some of their concerns and thoughts. But the focus of the meeting is to make the community aware of what our Public Works team, as well as those working in that department, are putting in preventive measures moving forward. And so I will say this publicly that Ms. Valerie has done a very good job of preparing that. And the information will be top notch and we'll do our best to answer the questions of the community. Lastly, actually, I think that was it. That was the last one talking about the community meeting. You all have a good evening.
All right, thank
Thank
you. Councilwoman Randolph.
Okay, I have a couple concerns. One of the concerns is about the dumpsters. I visited several businesses and most of them have complaints about the ordinance that they have to follow. A lot of if Mrs. King can put the slide up on the board so you can see exactly what is going on. Okay, there's one dumpster there that's on Kennedy Boulevard at the tall building before you get to Miss Kim. Most of the owners are complaining that they do not have the space that's required for the dumpsters. I believe, Mr. Preston, thank you for sending that information, but I just haven't really read all of it. I just kind of glanced at it from some of the other owners about the requirements, and they have a lot of legitimate concerns. You have another slide that you can show? There's another one there, right there at, what is it called? The seafood place.
Mad crap.
Mad crap.
Mad Crab there. They don't have a dumpster. However, what they do have, they have 4 regular trash cans there.
Toters. 96.
You know, and they say that they do not have room for a dumpster. There's another one there at the nursery. You see that one in the back. So it just basically goes on and on and on. I'd just like to know what is it that what we can do to help some of the owners, specifically Metro Storage, just on the far end,
Mhm.
stated that he does not even use half of his dumpster. And he would like to know, can he have that replaced with trash cans? Because they only take out the office trash very little, maybe like once or twice a week. And it just use a little plastic bag. So what is it we can do to help our business community to deal with this issue?
Right, so the enforcement is coming, of course, we asked for code enforcement to start, enforcing those issues, and this was one of them. Now, what he's enforcing is based off what our ordinance requires. And our ordinance for these dumpsters requires the enclosures. And so he's just following that same precedent. Now, what I am doing is meeting with Waste Connection to talk about which ones require dumpsters, which one can do the toters. It's gonna be a case by case scenario, but if we're not going to want to enforce the ordinance, kind of makes a moot point for the code to be in existence. So I need more direction, either we, and this is, I was talking with planning and code enforcement, either we need to change the ordinance or we need to find maybe through CRA some funds to assist with helping to include those enclosures. So it's one of those things that it's kind of catch-22. We're enforcing based off, putting all of the code enforcement in. However, if we don't enforce this, then we need to change our ordinance.
What about them sharing? Like if the one doesn't use all of his, but the one next to him needs it and he has the space.
I have to
or
look
they
at
have
the
space,
ordinance, because
Can they share?
they can't, there are cases where sharing, but that's something that they have to work out with Waste Connection on the percentage that goes from there.
But the one you showed with Mad Crab, all of them need those rollerways. 4 you just showed on that screen there, Mad Crab, we just give them all of those there, those rollerways, whatever you call
Oh, give them the toters.
them. Toters, just give them toters. Cause Mad Crab,
96.
they had a dumpster. They went to those there.
Mhm.
So they had a dumpster.
I thought we forced.
No, we forced them. They wanted one because it's right on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And no, she wanted one.
And the problem is, we've had, the
Yeah, she
council
wanted
has spoke
to change
about some of these dumpsters and the locations, and so we started enforcing based off what the law
It's not,
required.
it just go to them and say, we're gonna give you for a rollaway.
So,
That's it. That's easy to
Yeah.
solve.
so we can look at it.
I mean, that's all it is. I've
Is
been
there-
talking about that.
Thank you. Is there anything else?
Yes, I do. 1 second, yeah. Let me finish here. Okay, the other one is, so I'm glad you looked into that issue. There's a dumpster that's on Lincoln Boulevard behind the Redeeming Light Church. And the neighbors have been complaining about people throwing mattresses in there and all kinds. No one is owning up to the dumpster. So I'm not too sure if it's owned by the church or it's just been placed there
It's a good church.
on Lincoln.
I'm sure it's the church, but let me check into what's the,
It's the church.
well, I'm saying, let me check in what's the going on.
And they can change, yeah, they make a dumpster. And what need to happen, and then you go to all the ways to put it in front of the building, and they can pick it up on the side on Washington Street.
Okay,
That'd be-
still waiting on blue bins from Waste Connections. You can check on that. for
I
us.
did check, they actually had a change in staff, and I'm supposed to meet the new rep hopefully within the next week, and I'll bring it up to the new person as well.
Okay, do we have any other updates on the Dixon property?
Yes, we did receive a writ of possession from the court. And the next step is to have the sheriff serve that writ of possession to put the CRA back into possession.
You know how
Of
soon
that
it's gonna
property.
happen?
It should happen this week.
Oh, okay. All right, other than that, for the time being, I have nothing else.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you.
It will be the town only.
Councilman Washington.
So. Yeah, that's one thing that we'll talk about. Welcome everybody here tonight. Yeah, about Dick's property. They call it the boom boom room or something like that on the streets, because there's so much stuff going on in that place. So I found out about it the weekend, they said, oh, the house down, they call it the boom boom room. I'm like, what? And it's the town, so we need to definitely get that control of ASAP.
Yeah, PD is aware of it. I think it was just a matter of all the
I mean,
legalities for that.
took a long time, but it should have been,
And part of the takeover, when the actual, it's served. 24 notice is fully, they come back, everything comes out. I've already got with Public Works, they'll be prepared to put boards, screws to board. the whole
probably get a
building.
dumpster out there.
So we've
Just get-
already got a plan together
Make sure
to
we
take
Thank
care
you.
of it.
But then I know that property sits on somebody else's property too, so we need to get that situated.
The fence, there's an
Right.
issue with the fence, but
So
we've talked to them.
Once we get all that situated, we go through and parcel that property out like it's supposed to be. And I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Yes, good evening.
Good
Where are we on the repair of College and Eaton that I'm concerned, yes, because, you have certain residents saying that's leakage under there. So when you have that, they,
That's stormwater.
That's
It's
stormwater.
not sewer, it's stormwater, but go ahead.
Right, they've started work today
Mhm.
and it's probably gonna be about a 2 or 3 day duration.
And just for the record, it's not sewer. That's.
It's a stormwater, it was a stormwater clay pipe.
Yes.
We're trying to finalize the investigation, but it may have collapsed.
that's,
So that's what we're
Are we-
doing investigation and mitigation.
are we in danger of erosion under there as far as our streets collapsing because of the water moving earth? I mean,
That's what they're
I'm asking.
mitigating now.
Yeah, they're building up underneath the storm pipe, but we'll have a better report for you once we get into that.
And how long do we have before when we discover something like this that we act upon it? Because that's been a while.
Right, we didn't treat this one as emergency, so we went through the procurement process to have multiple contractors. So it did take a little longer than we
Mhm.
normally do. But yeah, next time we'll expedite that much faster.
All right, thank you. Also recycle bins, whenever you have your meeting, I recycle. I have a couple of neighbors, we recycle as well. I didn't know about the rollaway toll, like you're saying, for garbage. I don't know if our volume is enough to implement those for certain, people. Just ask, or we just add a toll, for our.
For the
For the
actual
residents.
agreement, it is just a little bins. We would
Okay.
have to we'd have to change it if we wanted to see about the
Okay,
rolling.
and it's probably more money
It
to
would
do
be a
that.
little more. But
Okay,
we maybe can negotiate that when we do the new contract.
I wish we had a program in place that we could start helping our residents to realize the value of recycling and, but we can work on that later. As far as the freezing of the position, I heard you say that, forgive me in my memory. Does that come to us or the police department, are they able to freeze the deputy chief or did we freeze
We
it?
done that.
We did, I'm just saying,
For the council and the council.
I didn't remember that, but yeah, okay, got you on that one. The newsletter, it looks great. The only, I guess I wouldn't say problem is that I thought that each council member should have something to say as far as it being Christmas and saying thank you. I saw that Mr. Presley had a whole, run. That's right. No, you're good. You're good. I don't fault you. I just thought that each council member, since it's around Christmas, we would like to say, Merry Christmas.
At
to
a half a page.
Half a page, yeah.
We'll consider it. We'll definitely make that.
Are we putting up the big tree, Miss Monday? I've had a person, I work for Costco and they swear that, the Christmas that we have as far as the lights and the Christmas tree is so like warming to her. And she asked me, are you guys gonna put in a tree? I said, yeah, we're gonna be, because she loves how we decorate. So that's good to hear from the outside that they come to see. So I was asking, are we gonna put up that big tree?
Can you go to your microphone?
I'm told that we are, and it's
Okay.
coming quickly, but Mr. Presley can give you more
Okay.
details.
That's the only detail on that. We were hoping to put it up in a location, but it was going to cause a right of way
Okay,
visibility for the triangle right away of that. So we can find another spot. We were looking to go with a actual lighted tree. That way it wouldn't prevent from being able to see, but the Parks and Recreation is working on that now.
all right.
So, but if you all want the tree, I just got to find a location for it.
If that customer asks me every time she see me, you guys gonna put up a tree? I say, yes.
We have a tree in the lobby,
She likes it outside.
The big tree is.
She likes it.
I'll try.
That's how we do our Christmas on the board.
Okay, I'll see, I'll get with staff.
Also kudos to Ms. King as well. Awesome chamber. I'm excited, the new mics, the monitors. Just look forward to progressing even higher and thank you so much. Have a great day. Oh, that's the gift. Have a great day.
You're back. Mayor, may I have one more comment? Yes, thank you. I just want to just bring this to everyone's attention. Yesterday, I had a very, I would say, intense conversation with some of the contractors here in the town. And my church, which is St. Lawrence AME Church, the oldest church here, they have really been taking advantage of the grounds there that we have there because it's a very convenient corner for meeting and kind of getting together. But if you pass by the grounds of the church, I met with several of them yesterday. There was 4 companies that were parked on the property yesterday. I know this is not a town issue, but these are town contractors who are more or less have taken upon themselves to have that as a transportation corner for their vehicles. And that has been, I've been telling them, I've already complained about it to the companies to stop that because the grounds now are ruined, they are damaged, and it's gonna be very hard for us to get those restored back to the way that they were. So if you pass by the church, just kind of look to the left. If you're going on the east side, you can see exactly how the grounds have been distracted. So I just want to just bring that to your attention.
Yes, ma'am. And it's with that
Thank you.
internet stuff, AT&T? It could be one of the underground from that, or it could be Duke Energy. I know Duke's been in the area and
No, it's Primoris. What is it? Primoris, PRI?
probably doing. I'm not.
There's several other companies too
Okay,
besides.
I'll definitely look into it once.
Yes.
All right, real quick.
Thank
Thank you, Mr. Presley. Thank you, Ms. Mundy. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mrs. King. Thank you, all the staff, Ms. Greg, newsletter, chambers, grants. It has not been easy, and we know that it has not. But the administration has found a way to still push through regardless. And I'm very appreciative of that. I can't wait for Christmas on the Boulevard. I love the lights. Even driving in the car, it feels warmer. You know, so I definitely agree. So I look forward to that. And Thursday also, am glad that we are reaching out to the citizens to hear back from them. Because overall, we are doing really good things, and I appreciate it. it. With that being said, I move. I didn't ask for a report from you.
A report.
Good, all right. With that being said, I move for adjournment.
A second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned at 8:23.
When was the community meeting? Because I was looking through my emails, because sometimes I forget. When was that? Yes.
Hey, we had a meeting with them.
Oh, I forgot how soon. I was gonna say somebody.
Sunday.